Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're talking about a plan, a way to opt out of a system that feels like it's designed to keep you on a financial hamster wheel. Think of it as a great escape, with our guide being former Wall Street insider, Mac McDonough. Let's get into it.
Right off the bat, McDonough doesn't pull any punches. He's describing a system where the folks in charge are basically playing with a stacked deck. They get richer, and the rest of us, well, we're just trying to keep our heads above water. I mean, you kind of have to respect the hustle, right? It's diabolical, but hey, it's also brilliant.
All right, so if the game is rigged, what's the move? Do you just flip the table? According to McDonough, you don't just flip the table. You walk out of the casino entirely and start your own game. And that's the core of this whole Great Escape idea. It's a two-part strategy.
First things first, you gotta understand the arena you're in. McDonough calls it the Fiat circus, a world built on money that's, well, it's not really backed by anything solid. And in this particular circus, your savings account is the main act, performing a slow, agonizing vanishing trick.
And the star of this circus? The money printer. No, it's not a real machine in some basement, though that would be a great movie. But its effects are very, very real. Every time new money gets created out of thin air, every single dollar you've worked hard to save loses a little bit of its power. McDonald calls it vampiric for a reason. It's literally sucking the life out of your savings to feed the financial system.
And look, this isn't just some dusty economic theory. This stuff has real consequences. McDonough tells this story of a hypothetical fifth-generation Italian shoemaker. Picture it. His family builds this incredible business, saves their money, only to watch it all turn to dust as the currency gets devalued to zero. Generations of work, poof, gone.
And that really gets us to the heart of the matter, the core conflict. On one side, you have centralization. All the power is in the middle. Yeah, it can be convenient, but it usually comes at a price, and the insiders tend to win. On the other side, decentralization. It pushes power out to the edges, to you. It's about taking back control.
So, that brings us to part one of the grand escape plan, Bitcoin. And for a second, let's just forget all the complicated tech jargon. Think of it more like a financial escape hatch, a way to store your economic energy, all your hard work, in a kind of wealth battery that nobody can drain without your permission.
Okay, I can practically hear you thinking it. Great idea, man, but didn't that ship sail, like, 10 years ago? It's the question everyone asks, and it's a totally fair one. Is it just too late to get on board?
Well, according to McDonough, not only is it not too late, we're just getting started. He says if you look at the big picture, at all the value in the traditional system that Bitcoin could potentially absorb, we are only 2% of the way there. 2%! That's like showing up to a party just as the first song is starting.
And to give you an idea of just how big this party could be, look at this number, $400 trillion. That's McDonough's estimate for the monetary premium sloshing around out there, all the value that's been kind of artificially created. And he believes Bitcoin is set to soak up a huge chunk of that. When you think about it that way, today's prices start to look a whole lot different.
So why Bitcoin? Well, it's got a few superpowers. Its supply is fixed by code. You can't just fire up the printers when you feel like it. It can't be censored or controlled by any one group. So when a ton of demand rushes in, the only thing that can move is the price, which, yeah, makes for a pretty wild ride. McDonough says it's not buried in the ground like gold. It's buried in time, released on a schedule that everyone can see.
But hold on. This escape plan isn't just about protecting your money. That's only half the battle. The other half is about empowering your mind. And that brings us to the second pillar of this sovereign future, artificial intelligence. And no, not just for making funny cat pictures. It's a tool for what McDonough calls intellectual sovereignty.
So how does that work? Well, imagine having the world's most patient tutor who knows literally everything. McDonough lays out this super simple method. You ask AI to explain something complicated as if you're 7, then 10, then as if you're a high school nerd, then a world expert. You basically walk yourself up the ladder of complexity at your own speed. It's a learning superpower.
And here's the really cool part, the truly sovereign part. You can use tools like LM Studio to run these incredibly powerful AI models right on your own computer, totally disconnected from the internet. You know the saying in crypto, not your keys, not your coins, right? The new version of that is, not your weights, not your AI. It's about true ownership and control.
So there you have it, the two pillars of sovereignty working together. You've got Bitcoin on one side, protecting your wealth, your economic energy, and you've got locally run AI on the other, protecting your mind, your access to pure information free from someone else's agenda.
It's a real one-two punch for personal freedom.
Okay, so we have the tools, but what does the world they build actually look like? What's the endgame? Let's take a little trip to the future and get a sneak peek at the world McDonough envisions for the year 2040.
So in this future, the idea of a single person running a billion-dollar company is normal, totally normal. Why? Because you've got a digital twin, an AI version of you that works 24/7. Meanwhile, actual robots are handling all the boring physical stuff. All of this frees up humanity to finally focus on what we're supposed to be good at, being creative.
And before you say this sounds like some crazy sci-fi movie, just look at the history of how we work. We went from fields to factories to office cubicles. Each leap was powered by some new technology that freed us up from the old way of doing things. The sovereign age, powered by AI and robots, it's just the next logical step.
And when you boil it all down, it comes back to this very human idea. McDonough argues that at our core, we're creators. The problem is, our current system makes it really hard to save, and you need savings to be able to take creative risks. Bitcoin, by giving us a way to securely save, becomes the foundation for a whole new era of creation.
And that leaves us with one final, and maybe the most important question of all. As we build this brave new world of AI assistants and digital twins, that line between a tool and a partner is going to get really blurry. So the question is, in 2040, is that digital version of you going to be your greatest collaborator or your eventual replacement? The answer, it seems, is up to us.